Some cities sit on a river, some sit on a coast. Only one sits on two continents at once. This is Istanbul, where Europe ends, Asia begins, and a single strait of water has decided the fate of empires for over 2,000 years. Stand on the right bridge here and you can watch the sun rise over Asia and set over Europe, all from the same spot. 8,500 years of history are stacked beneath your feet. Let's walk through them. Before it was Istanbul, it was Constantinople. Before that, Byzantium. 3 names, 3 empires: Roman, Byzantine, and Ottoman, each one making this the capital of its world. No other city has been the beating heart of so much history for so long. And the astonishing thing is, it's all still here. The Roman columns, the Byzantine churches, the Ottoman palaces, layered on top of one another like the pages of a book that was never closed. Nowhere tells that story better than Hagia Sophia. For nearly 1,000 years, it was the largest cathedral on earth. Then it became a mosque, then a museum, and today, a mosque again. Step inside and 1,500 years hit you at once. A dome that seems to float on light, golden Byzantine mosaics of saints, and giant discs of Islamic calligraphy hanging beneath them. 2 faiths, 1 roof, in perfect, uneasy harmony. Directly across the square stands its rival, and its answer, the Blue Mosque. Finished in 1616 to outdazzle the church across the way, its 6 minarets pierce the skyline, and its cascade of domes tumble down toward you. But the name comes from within. More than 20,000 hand-painted Iznik tiles line the interior in every shade of blue, glowing softly as light pours through 200 stained glass windows. For 400 years, the Ottoman Empire was ruled from a single hilltop, Topkapi Palace. This wasn't one building, but a city within the city. Courtyards, pavilions, kitchens that fed thousands, and the legendary harem. In the treasury, you'll find the 86-carat spoonmaker's diamond and the emerald-encrusted Topkapi dagger. Step onto the terrace and the Sultan's choice becomes obvious. The one balcony with a view over 2 seas and 2 continents. Now go underground. Beneath the busy streets lies a 6th century cathedral of water, the Basilica Cistern. 336 marble columns rise out of dark, still water, lit red and gold, koi fish drifting between them. In the far corner, 2 colossal heads of Medusa lie sideways and upside down, older than the cistern itself, and nobody is entirely sure why. Back above ground, brace yourself for one of the oldest and largest covered markets on earth, the Grand Bazaar. 4,000 shops, 61 covered streets, a labyrinth so vast that getting lost isn't a risk, it's the entire experience. Lamps glow overhead, carpets hang like tapestries, gold glitters in the windows, and every shopkeeper wants to pour you tea and start the ancient dance of the haggle. Down by the water sits its smaller, more fragrant cousin, the Spice Bazaar, built in 1660. This is Istanbul you can smell before you see it. Pyramids of saffron and sumac, mounds of Turkish delight in 100 colours, dried figs, teas and honeycomb dripping in the window. For nearly 4 centuries, this has been the city's pantry. Everything in Istanbul eventually leads back to the water. The Bosphorus is the strait that splits the city and 2 continents in half, connecting the Black Sea to the Sea of Marmara. Board a ferry for a few lira and you get the best show in the city. Ottoman palaces and wooden waterfront mansions sliding past, fishing villages, and gulls chasing the boat as tea is served in tulip-shaped glasses. Cross the Golden Horn to the north bank, and the medieval Galata Tower rises over the rooftops. Climb it at sunset, and the whole peninsula unfolds beneath you. Minarets, domes, and the glittering water going pink and gold. Below spreads BeyoÄ಼lu, the city's most European face. Steep lanes, art galleries, rooftop bars, and music spilling out of doorways after dark. At its heart runs Istiklal Street, a mile-long pedestrian avenue where up to 3 million people walk on a single busy day. A cherry-red antique tram clangs down the middle of it, past 19th century arcades, chestnut roasters, bookshops, and street musicians. This is Istanbul's pulse, loud, endless, and gloriously alive from morning until long past midnight. Back on the historic peninsula, crowning the highest hill, stands the masterpiece of the empire's greatest architect. Mimar Sinan built the SÄleymaniye Mosque in the 1550s, and for 462 years, it was the largest mosque in the city. It is calmer than the Blue Mosque, more perfectly balanced, and its courtyard offers the single best free view over the Golden Horn. By the 1800s, the sultans wanted Europe, not the East, so they built Dolmabahçe, 14 tons of gold on the ceilings, a 4.5-ton crystal chandelier hanging over a staircase with banisters of baccarat crystal. It sits right on the Bosphorus, its white marble facade stretching 600 meters along the shore. It nearly bankrupted the empire, and you can see exactly where the money went. For something quieter, went uphill into Balat and Fener, the old Jewish, Greek and Armenian quarter. Rows of tall wooden houses tumble down the slopes in candy colours: ochre, powder blue, crimson, mint. In Ottoman times, the paint told you who lived there. Today, it's the most photogenic corner of the city. Antique shops, hidden churches, and cats asleep on every doorstep. Now cross to Asia. 20 minutes on the ferry and you land in KadÄ, where the tourists thin out and the locals take over. Its market is the real food heart of the city. Walk it off in neighbouring Moda, sea view parks, indie cafes, street art and live music as part of daily life. This is where Istanbul actually lives. And you cannot talk about Istanbul without the food. Simit, sesame bread rings, sold from red carts at dawn. Balik ekmek, a grilled fish sandwich handed straight off a boat by the Galata Bridge. Kebabs, lahmacun and pide from tiny family kitchens. Then baklava, layered gold and dripping with syrup, and Turkish tea and thick Turkish coffee poured endlessly. Two experiences you can only really have here. First, the hammam, a centuries-old Turkish bath under a domed marble ceiling pierced with stars of light, where you're scrubbed, foamed and steamed until you float out reborn. And second, the Whirling Dervishes, the SÃleymaniye, a spinning meditation in white robes that isn't a show but a prayer. When the city gets loud, locals escape to the Prince's Islands, car-free islands in the Sea of Marmara where the only traffic is bicycles and the pine forests run down to the sea. Because Istanbul isn't really one city. It's Europe and Asia, ancient and modern, sacred and street food, all crashing together on one impossible strait of water. You don't visit Istanbul, you get pulled into it. So tell me in the comments where we should explore next, and if this made you want to book a flight, subscribe and come with us to the next city.